What's going on, YouTube? My name is Zach with Android Digest, and today I want to give you an updated review on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra. This device has been out a little more than 6 months now, and there's a lot of different opinions about it. So I wanted to give you some of my updated thoughts and let you know what I think and if it's worth buying in 2022 and beyond. So with all that being said, let's get right into it and let's check out the Tab S8 Ultra. So the Tab S8 Ultra, it does retail at over $1,000, $1,099. And that's one of the reasons why this device is so divisive. A lot of people have seen this price and they've thought, whoa, I would never spend $1,000 on an Android tablet. And there's other people out there who just saw how big it was, 14.6 inches, and they thought this tablet is too big. And I was one of those people who thought the Tab S8 Plus would be more than good enough for me. And honestly, it is more than good enough, but there is still something about this Tab S8 Ultra that keeps calling me back to it because this is a tremendous tablet, and even though it's very big and polarizing in a lot of different ways, it's still a device that I honestly overlooked, as weird as that is. At launch, it did come with the book cover keyboard, but it was still very, very expensive, but we have seen a lot of sales after the launch, and also there's a lot of people selling it online on places like Swappa or eBay. You could get a lot of great deals on this tablet. But the other thing I really didn't expect to miss was just the screen size of this device. Whenever I was watching movies and I was sitting down on the couch and my wife wanted to watch something on TV, I was able to pull out my tablet and not really feel like I was missing anything because I would get that great experience with a very large tablet and I was able to get that right there on my lap. And it worked absolutely great for that. This tablet is tremendous for media with a great OLED screen. This OLED screen does get more than bright enough, at least for me. I know it is a little bit reflective in some situations, but overall, this screen looks absolutely beautiful, and no mini LED screen out there is going to be able to match this. I understand mini LED is good, it can get very bright, and it may even get brighter than this tablet, but if I'm using this device in several lighting conditions, it doesn't really matter where, this tablet just looks so good with the colors because nothing can really compare to a great OLED screen. And when you put that on a 14.6 inch device, it can make a lot of things you're doing really, really pop. So as I was using this, I started to really gear towards wanting to use this rather than the Tab S8 Plus, at least for media. Now, for portability, of course, I preferred the Tab S8 Plus. And for a lot of other things, the Tab S8 Plus may be a better tablet for you. I do plan to re-review that tablet very, very soon, and I still think that a lot of you should consider buying the Tab S8 Plus instead of the Ultra. But I think a lot of people just miss how great the Ultra can really, really be, especially if you're the right person who really needs to use it or really wants to use it. Because if you're using something like the S Pen, for example, on this screen, I am not an expert in drawing, but when I draw on this screen, it is still a tremendous experience. If you're someone who is out there and you're trying to draw, maybe you are someone who even wants to take notes for class, this tablet is going to be great for that. You're going to have a lot of real estate to work with, and that's another thing to really like about the Tab S8 Ultra. Now, one minor nitpick I will say, if you do use the Kickstand, let's say you're trying to draw with the keyboard cover attached, and if you have the Kickstand beyond this middle point, if it's about halfway, perfectly fine. If you put pressure on the screen, it's going to hold up on a table just fine. But if you do put this up and you put the kickstand a little bit further, when you start to press on the screen a little bit, you could actually be pressing the kickstand further and further down. That extra weight that the tablet has, it does weigh a little bit on the kickstand. And overall, if you look at other factors or other things with this device, this does still have that flagship processor with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. It still flies through like every task I put at it. Of course, you can get the higher tier models to get more RAM on this tablet, but realistically, when you think of Android and how it manages RAM, I don't think your average user is really going to need more RAM. Now, I do understand that there is a little bit of controversy with Samsung. They have sadly tried to throttle this device a little bit. They have been delisted with the benchmarking apps and whatnot in some situation. I don't know. It was a little bit of a crazy situation, but I just want to say that's not going to affect your average person. If you're actually using this device, you will quickly find that it is very speedy. It will do everything you really want it to do. It will feel very, very fast. And when you have this large screen, I've really found that I've really loved how it multitasks. I've loved how when I throw 2 or 3 different apps on the screen, because the screen is a little bit bigger than the Tab S8 Plus, the apps just look a little bit nicer. And if I'm doing my budget or something, or let's say I'm watching a YouTube video on one side, you just get a larger YouTube video while you're scrolling the internet, or you get a larger screen for scrolling Twitter, or if you are doing some reading, that's something that a lot of you might do, but you may need to watch something on the side. Maybe you're trying to be extra productive. Again, having that larger screen real estate is a big deal, especially with something like Samsung DeX. You have to remember that something like a new phone like the Samsung Galaxy Flip 4, which I do plan to review very, very soon, that phone does not have Samsung DeX, and it is a pretty lame excuse. They are saying that they don't want to give it Samsung DeX because, for one, the screen is very small and maybe they're worried about overheating or something like that. I don't really know why it doesn't have it. And the Galaxy Fold, for example, it can do wireless DeX, or you can plug in a wire and put it on a monitor, but you're not really going to get Samsung DeX on the device itself. And maybe that'll change when it comes out, or maybe it'll change with some software updates, but that's not something you've been able to do in the past. And why? I don't really know why Samsung hasn't, but maybe it's because even with a 7.6-inch screen, it's just not enough to do a lot of multitasking, right? But 14.6 inches is more than enough for multitasking. So again, whenever I have Samsung DeX up on this screen, it just looks so much nicer. And if you are someone that wants to get very productive, this device is tremendous for that. And when you factor in the S Pen, when you factor in a lot of different things that this tablet does, you're going to get one of the best experiences as far as viewing experiences with videos. You're going to get a tremendous experience for productivity. So I know it might not be able to do quite as much as something like a Surface Pro, but on the other hand, you have to realize that this still has a lot of advantages over a Surface Pro, and there are a lot of things that you're going to be able to do a little bit better on something like a Galaxy Tab. Now the keyboard cover, it's good. It's not the best. I did actually review it before. I am going to have another review for it again, so feel free to check out my channel. I'm going to have plenty of info on this keyboard cover. But the keyboard cover doesn't have a ton of travel, not quite as much as a laptop. In fact, if I type super, super fast, every once in a while it'll miss a key or two just because I'm typing too fast for it. And that's very, very minor. I type like 100 words a minute, and that won't affect most people. But there are some minor little issues like that. Again, this keyboard cover won't work quite as well on your lap because it is so darn thin, and you can't actually get a lot of accidental trackpad clicks if you're not careful. So there are some minor issues with the experience, and I wanted to be honest about those because I'm a tech reviewer that does like to be honest. But when you factor all those things in, you have to remember that compared to a normal laptop, you are getting more portability even with this big 14.6-inch device. You are getting a better screen than your average laptop at this price. You are getting something that, well, it's just a great Android experience. And if you're out there and you're looking for a larger tablet, you may want something with a beautiful OLED screen. You may want something that's great for movie watching, or something that's tremendous for pen input. A lot of laptops are not made to be very good with pen input, but this has a 120 Hz screen with a very low response time on input with the S Pen. So if you factor that in and how great the experience is drawing or watching videos, and when you factor in the good performance on Android, and when you factor in the Samsung ecosystem, a lot of you come from other Samsung devices, and a lot of you want a device that's going to work well with those other things. If that's you, this tablet is definitely a great device that I would highly recommend. And I always say this, I recommend it as long as you're okay with those minor compromises I mentioned in this video. Now, if you want a device that's a little bit smaller, but it does have a little more portability, but on the other end, it does have the same power. If you still want an OLED screen, you still want a gorgeous, beautiful display, and if you want a device that has the same RAM and a lot of the same things, well, the Tab S8 Plus has almost almost everything the same. It's just a little bit smaller. Now, you're not going to have this notch on the top of the tablet. You're just going to have a black bezel. But outside of minor differences like that, or one less camera on there, you're going to really have a great experience on that Tab S8 Plus, and it's going to have almost all of the same premium features in a smaller body. If you're someone who doesn't mind one step down from the Tab S8 Plus, if you don't mind going away from an OLED screen, the screen is still tremendous on the Tab S8. It's only an 11-inch tablet, and it still has the same power as this Tab S8 Ultra and a lot of those same features. So again, you're not missing out with a lot. It does have a little bit worse input with the S Pen as far as the response time, but it does still have a 120 Hz screen. It has a beautiful, gorgeous resolution. It does still have tremendous performance, and I would still recommend the Tab S8 to a lot of you. And if you're in the middle and you're not sure, you want a larger tablet, but again, you're just not really sure how large you should go, you really are going to go between the Tab S8 Plus and the S8 Ultra. And the S8 Ultra is for those people that don't mind a tablet that is ridiculous in size. So I understand a lot of you might think it's too big. If that's you, that's fine. But the Tab S8 Ultra, you have to understand this is one of the best tablets you could buy. It's one of the best tablets for over $1,000. It's one of the best tablets for under $1,000 because I've seen a lot of sales bringing it under that price. And if you find this tablet on sale, if you find it for any reasonable sale out there, I would highly recommend it to you. And my thoughts have changed over time, and man, I'm even more in love with this tablet now than I was 6 months ago. 6 months ago, I thought it was good, but maybe it wasn't for me. But now, I really do think that this device is even better than I thought, and I think it's a great device for those people who really want a larger tablet and want a tablet that is just absolutely great. Thank you so much for watching this video. I do hope it helped you. Please give me a like to this video if you liked it, and give me a sub, which would mean a lot to my channel. Also, feel free to check out some other videos if you do get a little bit of time. That would be a great way to support me. And check the links in the description. I do make a little bit of money off those affiliate links if you buy absolutely anything from those links. Thank you all so much. Hope you have a great day, and I really do hope you enjoy your week.